inequalities should be embedded throughout everything we do and think and try and change about civil society. It has an impact on all of us, irrespective of who we are and how privileged or not we are. And finding ways to do that is incredibly difficult, but that we need to stop talking about what's going wrong in other places and to start to think about what I can do and what others can do to actually change things.
One of the things I thought was interesting that came up today is the role that funders can play in building civil society organisations and helping civil society organisations tackle inequalities, not just from people who are experiencing inequalities, but those who are experiencing problems between communities as well. I think this hinges on co-production, and what came out today was a sense that organisations involved in civil society aren't very good at working together necessarily. Mainly they might work in partnership and make joint partnership bids, but there's always one partner in that who is leading and dominating. Funders are in a unique position to help us work out how to work together on good outputs, rather than just thinking about what the outputs are. I think we need some help on how to do that well in order to make civil society stronger and maybe stop fighting over bits of the pie and actually have a better outcome for everybody.
I think one of the really fascinating things that's come out of these two sessions has been the sense that we can often be working in silos and that we're not very good at having a shared vision for what the change we want to see in the world. And that's partly because we're all really beholden to funders, and we're all beholden to funders to say that we have a unique selling point. Sometimes I think we need to be able to put that aside, give up some of the power that big organisations like Liberty hold, be a bit more big-hearted and generous-spirited with the influence that we have, and probably learn quite a lot as a result.
What struck me most about the meeting we've just had indoors is the commonality around the relevance now of material inequality and the significance that's having for all of our work and all of our campaigns. And it seemed at least that the solution might not be simply for all of us to abandon our particular focus on our particular strands of inequality and simply talk about material inequality, but to understand intersectionality better and to make sure the public better understands intersectionality, because that seems to be the best way of understanding what brings us all together and makes our experiences common, but will avoid falling into the trap of seeing material inequality as being the only relevant inequality, which of course it never was and never will be.
We talked a little bit about some of the great work that some organisations are doing around poverty-proofing the school day, for example, which means that, you know, if you've got a child that is on free school meals and you're taking them out for a school trip, perhaps not thinking about giving them their lunch in brown paper bags, which are, you know, very easily identifiable. So it's just about getting schools and educational institutions not necessarily having to tinker with the curriculum, but just thinking about ways of trying to integrate and incorporate discussion and thinking about inequalities into everything that they do. So young people and children grow up more prepared to participate in a society that's diverse, that's multicultural, which embraces people from a range of different backgrounds.
We are finding ways to change cultures in schools, in organisations, in communities. We need to try and find ways to replicate that across society more broadly and find ways for people to feel a sense of belonging, whether that's to a sense of place or to a community or to a group of people.